Today I'm going to talk with you about bow drill, and I'm going to discuss on how to make a hearth board and spindle for bow drill. So if you watched any of my YouTube shorts and other videos, I have demonstrated the bow drill set. I have some videos or a video on how to find materials and various things like that. But I'm going to show you how to make a bow drill set. So today I have a piece of willow, but it is dry. It's actually something that I cut a while back, and it's been sitting in my garage basically drying. So it's no longer green, but it is a good softwood. It's a good wood to use for bow drill, and also if you're using hand drill to have as a hearth board. So I'm gonna make a spindle and I'm gonna make a hearth board out of this, and I wanna demonstrate to you how to do it. Having the right materials to practice is important. So having right materials, and then later challenging yourself to go into the woods and actually create a bow drill fire from the materials you find on the spot. I need to make it smaller. So I'm gonna take the diameter of this and shrink it down. I'm gonna use the other piece of this. Come across to the other side here, just like this. And now I have something like this, a block. Shave the sides, straighten it up. It's a little bit crooked, straighten it out, and have a point on one end and a blunt end on the other. Okay, now that my spindle is fairly straight, and you'll notice the length of it. It's from the base of the palm of my hand really over the tip of my middle finger. That's a decent length. If they get too short, they can be a little bit aggravating when dealing with the bow, but this is a pretty good size. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one end and I'm gonna make it a point, a really sharper point, and the other end is gonna be a blunted rounded over end. And I'll start pressing in, spinning, pressing in, and just slicing off chunks as I spin it, just like I'm sharpening a giant pencil. And as I turn it, the point will basically be centered up, as long as I'm consistent. Okay, so there's my pointed end. Now I'm gonna do the same thing, but instead of having a pointed end, I'm gonna have a more rounded end. So with this end, I don't have to start so far back. I just need to start rounding up. Okay, there it is. Sharp end, rounded over end. Next, I'm gonna need to take the remainder of this and make a hearth board. Split this, and we should be able to make a couple different things here. But let's this is cracked. We're gonna split it right here, straight across, right there. And that should, there we go. That's a good hearth board. One thing I have what I call a bird's nest or a tinder bundle. This is just grasses that I picked up, and I'm gonna place the ember inside of this when I have it made. Here are the pieces to my bow drill set. I have a hearth board, a handhold, a spindle, and a bow. I'm gonna use my knife as my ember catch, or I can use something like a piece of bark or anything to catch my ember. Typically, when I use my bow, I use my left foot, brace my hand, and bow that way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a divot over here, right here, for my spindle. My spindle inside and get it to fit. Then I'm going to match or do like, okay? So now I've created this divot here. Now I'm gonna match my spindle to my hearth board. Place my spindle on the outside of the string here, just like this, outside of the string, okay? I'm gonna wrap it around and pop it into place. Place it on top. I'm getting good smoke. Getting a lot of smoke up here too on my hand drill. On my handhold. So you'll notice how black it is. I have good dust around the outside. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut a V-notch here, going this way and this way to about center of my divot hole, or slightly less than center. So center or slightly less than center. And I'm just gonna cut out a little piece. Just slowly work my way toward the center. Okay, so now I have created a notch right here. What I'm gonna do is slightly flare out the bottom of this notch. Okay, there we go. I've created a slightly bigger bottom than I have top. That's gonna make a bigger dust pile in the bottom there. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knife and place it here underneath my dust pile. Underneath my right here. So to catch the ember as it builds and the dust pile. Before I do this, I'm gonna actually trim up just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Place my knife underneath. Spindle. Place it inside my notch. Now, I'm simply going to begin the process of making an ember. Taking my time, building my dust pile. Notice I have my hand up against my leg. That's to give me a good firm foundation when it comes to holding this thing steady. Just slowly building my dust. Now I've got a good dust pile in there, so I'm going to press it down, go a little bit faster. I'm going to watch. You'll notice down here, you'll see it smoking. That means I have an ember there. Remove everything. This is the ember. I got to be careful that it doesn't fall. And I'm going to simply place it inside my tinder bundle here. Just like that. Now once I've got it inside my tinder bundle, I'll just let it build heat inside this tinder bundle. Right now there's some wind blowing, so I don't need to give it a lot of air, but I can give it a little bit by simply just waving it. Okay, when it builds up enough, it'll turn into flames just like that. So using some sticks and a string, you can create a fire using the bow drill method. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Remember, no matter what you're going through, give it to Christ and let Him take care of it.